Sweet. Good day, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Joan of Angels, and I have another great show, Stepping into the Miraculous, with you today. We are going to be stepping into the miraculous with someone I really admire, theryanhyoung. He's going to talk to us about, what's going to happen in this new world we're coming into. Okay, so we're no longer in a normal life. The planet definitely is not normal. And how are we going to evolve as things start to change and shift around us? And you understand what I mean, I hope, everyone. So that's very exciting. So my friend Ryan, just to let you know, it's hard to explain him. This man has a positive impact upon the planet. He has been designing programs, co-creating really with Gaia, with humans, to really set up alternative living situations, alternative communities where like-minded individuals can implement change here and now and really work together to really have a new solution to what's going on. So hello, Ryan.
How's it going, Joan?
It's going great. It is going great. I think that all of this disruption for us allows the rest of us to come up with some creative thoughts. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I think that is kind of like the iron sharpening iron whole deal, where you kind of have like not necessarily a negative, but kind of like a tough situation brush up against you, and it kind of motivates you to change, right? Or move. It's that pull you out of that static state and into that kinetic state. So I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. I know I am.
So does that make, so, it's really interesting. People are frightened. People are, it just depends what aspect you're in. If you're really getting a grasp of things are changing and I need to change with it and I need to be part of that transformation, then I think these are the best of times because there are new solutions coming out. So tell us a little bit about you and what you've been doing during these times.
One of the things to kind of leapfrog off that, when you say people are frightened, the reason for that is because fear kind of works like yawning, in my opinion. You see other people afraid, you see a mass amount of people afraid, you become afraid. Kind of like if you see someone yawn, you just yawn. It's very similar. People are watching other people. They're watching this narrative spin. They're watching these alternative media platforms, regular media platforms, listening to people saying things like, oh, we're in the Armageddon, whatever somebody's belief is. A lot of the messages that I've been seeing going out since 2020 have been very much like escapist mentality or end times mentality or passive mentality. And what it is it's saying it's already written, it's already done, there's nothing you can do about it, don't worry about it. And if that's the case, then why are we talking about it? Why do you have a show? What are we doing? Why am I watching this? If we're all running into the fire, it doesn't matter if we know, right? Unless there's something you can do.
Well, wait, that's a little pessimistic attitude, but I get it. Yes, some people
I don't think that. I'm saying
right.
From that perspective, if the way they're talking about it, you're all running into a fire and there's nothing you can do about it, why does it matter if you know? There's not even any point to an awakened movement if you're nothing you can be a part of. So that's what really inspired me to start moving in a more rapid manner and developing my ideas, was because it's time for people to get out of that passive state and into that transmutation state. We're in a transitionary time. You basically know everything now, right? But a lot of people are stuck in the, it's coming out. It's the Great Awakening. We're learning. It's like, okay, well, we're done learning now. You're always going to be learning, but you cannot stay stuck in that state or you're never doing. And one of the things is we are experiential creative beings. We've got to do, we've got to act. One thing I said on a previous show is faith without works is dead. You can know it, you can believe it, but until you put action to it in the 3D world, nothing happens, So what am I doing?
Absolutely true. Yeah. But yeah, so what are you doing? Like what? So what? Because that's the chop wood. That's what I've been telling everyone. Chop wood, carry water. You don't have to know the big picture. Just do what is in front of you on a day-to-day basis until you kind of understand where you're going, what your role is. But what have you been doing then? And kind of what new plans have you been coming up with as you're moving forward?
So my message, what's been coming to me is developing out the sustainable communities and making them franchisable so that we can make them available to everybody. One of the things that I've been hearing, right, and also been wanting to do is get myself self-sustained and off the grid as much as possible. But when I say off the grid, I don't mean off the grid, out in the wilderness, not a part of society. No, when I was a kid, that's what I used to want. I used to imagine, running off and living with like a Native American tribe, or like going and backpacking to India and just like getting out of it. But and I have gone on my own kind of spiritual journeys like that. I went to Virginia. I studied breathwork. I was like totally out of the loop for a while. But I realized you're planted where you're planted, you can say it that way, for a reason. You're in this system. You don't need to run away from the system. Boycotting the system can only do so much. You really have to implement strategies that can take the game back, put the leverage into your hands, bring the ball into your court. So with these communities, what the idea is empowering people, making them self-sustaining, pulling them out of the stress cycle, putting them into the creative cycle, and giving them the opportunity, us together. Every person that takes a step is a person in the whole, and then that becomes a mass movement. But I don't mean a movement in like, we're going to go and protest, and the civil rights movement and the Great Awakening movement. I mean like a legitimate change of mindset that people get on board with. I'm not just trying to send a message to give people hope that they don't do anything about. I want people to be inspired to do what you're passionate about. This is what I'm doing. And hopefully what I'm doing can empower and even build capital into what you're doing, right? But you've got to sit down. If you're always focused on fear and where we're at in the storybook, you're never writing the story. You know what I mean? You're never sitting down and saying, what am I good at? Or what am I passionate about? And here's the message of hope. This is what's exciting. What is your mission? What is your purpose? Whatever you're excited and passionate about. Isn't that a lot of fun? Whatever gets you excited. You literally, your purpose is to have fun.
No, it is. It is. And to live your purpose, right? When you live your purpose, you wake up every day excited, ready to fly over tall buildings in a single bound. And even if things collapse around you, you have more inner strength because you're prepared and you're here to hold this energy. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Well, one of the things
on the subject.
Yeah, one of the things I'm sure you've heard people say is like, oh, I'm just clearing a lot. And that's fine. That's part of it. I'm just trying to wake people up. I'm trying to spread the news. And it's almost like it's a chore. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that's not your mission. If you see it as a chore, that's not your purpose. If you find enjoyment in what you're doing, that's also beneficial to humanity, to the whole, then that's your purpose. That's how I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I get excited about it. I get motivated to do it. If I felt like it was something I have to do this and I'd rather do this, but I'm stuck, then I know I'm not doing the right thing. I don't ever feel that way. I get stressed sometimes and overwhelmed because it's a big undertaking, but I'm also kind of relaxed because I know, we'll say spirit's got it, right? The universe has got it. One of the things I've been saying on the other channels is we're all like synapses in the divine mind. We're all the little nerve cells. And the divine mind is creating the neural pathways. You get the message into your head. You accept it. You put action to that faith. You will be networked to who you need to be networked with. It will happen.
I totally agree. And faith, confidence, belief, intention. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. 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 So tell us a bit more about this community, because what I really love is that, they're talking about systems breaking down and how it's going to be better for us to live together again in families and communities so we can get more done, collaborate, and have access to, I think, even more materials. Who knows what's going to happen? So
resources and assets. Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
Resources. That's the right word.
What I say to people is systems aren't bad. Systems where the people are disempowered and not in the know, like they don't know that they're in a system, that's bad. That's a system
Right.
of control. But a system of
Right.
unity
Mhm.
is perfect. That's how it works. You're in a unified whole, but we're all individualized, right? We're all differentiated small droplets of consciousness living in experience. So we live in unison. But the idea of the communities is to move forward with technology rather than backwards. So I want modernized off-grid living because it's just the new way of doing it, you know? And that includes really decentralization in all aspects. That's what self-sustaining is. You're decentralized, right? The system of it though is just the community part of it. If you live in a neighborhood or a community or whatever, you're in a system technically, right? But that's okay because that's what brings the communication online. If you're just off grid by yourself, your level of impact might be minimized.
Well, completely. And you have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're living in a community, then certain jobs can be done by people who love to do those jobs while you do the jobs you love to do, right?
Right.
So that's part of sharing resources. So this would be a living community where people would come, they'd live, they'd share resources, if they're filmmakers or farmers, it doesn't matter. They'd all be working together to build a life.
Right. And it's a growth concept. So when you put the plan out, that's not the final complete, this is the end. It's kind of like, have you ever heard there's two concepts of God or the universe? There's the kind of linear concept of God is the end all be all end state versus God is a continuously evolving grand level of consciousness that's ever experiencing itself.
Right.
So that's kind of the idea, whether people believe that or not. The idea is that the communities, it's not a linear end trajectory goal. It's an ever evolving concept. It's just a new way we're going to do things. And from doing that, it empowers people to develop new systems. An example I had given was if somebody wanted to start like a chain of fast food, organic food trucks, franchise them out. If we have these sustainable farms, can help support that kind of a system. But there's so many things you could do because if you are leveraging all the assets of everybody, you still have a built economy. So everybody's incentivized to work within it because they're being empowered, then you will grow out your economy. And that's the difference, decentralized versus centralized, of a community-based living and communism. Because in communism, it's a pyramid of control.
From top down.
And the difference really is communism breaks the human spirit because it's survival. Everybody's for the greater good, for everybody to survive. Well, that's not for everybody to thrive. I came here
Right.
and I
Survive is very different than thrive.
Right. But see, they've got people, I mean, whoever but have people, it's like they're gaslighting them like, well, if you're having a good time, you're taking advantage of the other people who aren't. Why should you be empowered? Let me tell you why. Because the more empowered you are, the more you can empower other people. What I've told people is this: you live in a world of balance. So if you give everything away all the time and you never build yourself up because people see that as selfish, here's how it's going to work. You're going to give until you don't have anything. And when you don't have anything, you don't have anything to give. You have to sustain yourself too, right? And that's what allows you to continuously build that energetic economy with other people. So it's really making money and building yourself up by the benefit of others as opposed to the suffering of others. It's just two different ways of looking at it.
What a good way to put it. Because the truth is that if I'm prosperous, it doesn't mean I'm not taking away from you. We're really adding to that higher vibration of prosperity and bringing in more abundance. So yes, it's a very, anyway, I like your concept. I have to say, I like your concept. It's interesting to me that you can franchise it and have communities around the country, or I guess around the world. So very, very interesting to share. So my experience with communities comes from Dom and Her. Have you ever heard of Dom and Her?
In Italy? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an eco community, and it's actually really interesting. And it's broken down into different communities, like 12 or 13 or 14 communities where you have your house, and there's 1,000 people almost 1,000 people, but
Yeah.
they have it broken down that you live even inside of a big community. You live in your own home, your own tribe, your own family, where
Right.
you're doing this.
My thing, so I have heard of Damanhur and I would like to visit. I know if people look it up, it could look a little culty. So I'm not necessarily taking that path. You know what I mean, though?
God,
It's
never think of things like that, because I guess I am culty. I
well,
guess I'm culty.
Damanhur is very it is like in its own isolated system, which is cool to experience. One of the slogans I've been using is insulated, not isolated. So I want the communities to function like neighborhoods. I don't want you to be stuck in this to where you can't go out. I want you to be insulated from a system that could potentially be collapsing or be gaining further control through centralization. I want you to be insulated from that so that you can interact with it without being affected by it. Because there's a lot of awesome things out in the world, right? I'm not, I don't want to be taken out of it. I don't want to take other people out of it. I don't want to create any system of control. Everything must be decentralized.
And this isn't a hippie commune then?
No, this is a company. I set this up as a corporation for a very specific reason. Because if it's a company, it cannot be a cult. It cannot be led by, like a nonprofit or an NGO or whatever. Churches can fall into those categories. They're religious based. It can't be that way. That's
right.
What that does is creates division, creates an isolation effect. This has to be your belief, your faith, whatever is you. And you can do that in your private, or you can, there's no limit to it. But the community is not going to be promoting any specific message of that. Now, one thing cool is what I want to implement is having forum centers. So you can do TED Talks. People can get up there and, say whatever, promote whatever thing. And that's going to empower people within the community with ideas that they have, inventions that they have,
So they'd have educational programs and uplifting. And very, very interesting. This is very interesting. So this is across the board. It's more like community living. Yeah. Where do you think your first community is going to be?
We're working on doing it here in Florida. That's where we're gonna launch what I'm calling the proof of work template model. So it shows
this template model.
Yeah. So it shows, hey, look, this works. We've got our own self-sustaining system. It still is very interactive with the outside world. It's just a new way to develop neighborhoods, we'll call it. I'm calling them communities because, I mean, if you went and lived, for example, in an apartment complex, that's a community. You live in a community, a gated community, things like that. So it's not, when people hear the word, it's almost like it's been disenfranchised and they think of it like an Amish pasture or like a hippie commune or whatever. That's not what it is. It's changing the way that we develop things to an eco-friendly, decentralized manner so that you as the person are empowered and also in communication, and mandates cannot be placed upon you.
Okay, so this is going to be like a private membership type where they can't like shut you down in a certain way.
So, I mean, here's the thing.
To the best of our ability.
When you have the bigger you grow, when you have the level of networking and capital that's so beyond massive, you're a market maker. So sure, you can have systems of control trying to come against you, but when you have a bunch of empowered people, this is why decentralization is so important. If you have it centralized at the top, all somebody would have to do is take you out or usurp the control of the system, right? But if it's decentralized and the people are all, understanding what's going on, you have to take them all out. If they're all empowered with finances, so they're not having an inflated currency anymore with poisons, water, and food, and they can't think clearly, and they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they can't do anything. They don't even have time to think about their passions because they're too busy surviving. That's step one. Pull the masses out of survival mentality. Pull them out of inner city type living. I'm not demonizing living in the inner city. What I'm saying is it's a way of centralization.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be really decentralized. It's in alignment with New Earth concepts and
Very much so.
really the outpouring. So, what kind of help? Like, do you need? Are you looking for investors or support in any way, shape, or form? And how can people contact you?
So right now we do have some big investors on board. That's one of the cool things about making it a company is I can leverage.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I can leverage big money, pool that funding into the system so that we can develop charity type projects to build, sister communities, we'll call them in third world countries, right? Um, which would empower their economies. So what the idea of that is when you have a nonprofit, you're always asking people to fund your mission. When you have a business that's in paying people out, they're incentivized. If your business concept is for the people, if it's humanitarian minded, then you are now incentivizing big money to pay and benefit off of the helping others, as opposed to right now. And I've been saying this to a lot of people. There's a lot of big money out there that is impartial to what's going on. They're not good. They're not bad. It's just they know where to make money. And they will fund what is going to have a return of investment right now that just so happens to be systems that are designed to poison you, or not necessarily nefarious in nature, though could be, but you are irrelevant. Basically, you could benefit or not benefit from it as long as money's being made. Whereas in this, your benefit is the priority. It's a people-minded business. And if we can incentivize investors in that way, then we will take the leverage of the game back, because we're the economy, there's a limited amount of currency in circulation, right?
Right.
Or a limited amount of resources. And I don't mean scarcity, I just mean there's a limitation, which is what provides the economy. So all you have to do is leverage that into your system.
Got it. Okay. So how can people reach you?
So I put the I've got my YouTube channel. I'm kind of talking. I'm having people on. We're talking about what they're doing, and the model of that is you can talk about a problem to give context to the solution that you're going to present. Right. So we're not getting stuck in problems. So that's one way they can find me, is that YouTube channel. And the other way is.
Do you have an email?
My email? Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat?
Yes.
You can reach out to my email or even my phone number.
Well, I thought I'd scroll it across the screen and post it so people actually can find you. That would be.
Yeah, I've had people reaching out. Right now, we're not. I'm not out here looking for, hey, fund my project. We're good in that aspect. I do want to make it available, though, once we launch it, that lower level investors can invest in it, so that they can get a return investment if they want to. But that's not what I'm doing right now. I'm not out pitching for money. We've got that handled. But
and congratulations. Okay, that's a big big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that. Good. So you're actually moving forward. You're going to be moving forward rapidly now.
Yeah, we went from concept to we're actually breaking dirt this year to put this community in place. Yeah. And from there, I'm looking to set up a TED Talk to, get on a big stage and show people this concept. Because when people see this concept, no matter what amount of money you have, everybody wants to live like this.
So we got to get you on the TED Talk.
That's what we're working on. Yeah, it's looking good. Right. But we need to have that community getting set up first. We got to show that we actually have equity in the concept, right? Once that's in place.
I love this idea. Brilliant. And congratulations. Congratulations, Ryan. All right, guys. I'm going to put all Ryan's links below. You're going to know how to reach him. Make sure you reach out to him. This is a brilliant concept. Things are going to be different. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to live alone in the next few years with all that's going on. I really do want to be with and this is the key, like-minded people who have like-minded philosophies and concept about the planet and where we're going. So
that's the thing. It's bringing that option back, because right now everybody feels like I have to get out of here. Everything's falling apart. I have to go get into an isolation. And you may need to do that right now to get yourself set. But what we're doing is we're designing that future. So if you want something to be a certain way, start writing down your concepts of how to make it that way, right? And that's you manifest your reality by putting action to your thoughts, by consistently focusing on the positive. That's why I really want to change the narrative of this alternative media and stop focusing on what they're doing. You can know about it, but unless you're being presented a solution to what you can do about it, there's no reason to talk about it, right? I just don't see a reason to, because it's like I said before, it doesn't matter if you're running into a fire if there's nothing you can do about it. We got to be talking about solutions, and they exist. I'm here to tell you right now and empower you. They exist.
They do. And you're a solutions guy. You know, you are solutions oriented. And the truth is this is a brilliant solution for the coming times. And I'm really excited for it. And we're going to have you back on the show as soon as we really have more to report and we can actually go and see the community and take part. So really proud of you. Good job. Good job. All right. We'll see. So wait in the back room for a minute and we'll talk. All right, guys, was that exciting or whatever? You know, we are in perilous times, and there are going to be some shifts in how we live in our lifestyle, and finding a community of like-minded people that is not a cult, that is actually normal people who with ideas for healthy living, with a higher vibrational frequency, who agree with you on certain things that are happening out in the world. That would be the place to be, who share resources. So I want you to definitely look up Ryan. You have his email there, and I will put the links to his YouTube channel below. Meanwhile, I want to thank you all for stepping into the miraculous with me, Joan of Angels. And I want to invite you to get your free ebook on living your soul purpose. I think it's kind of interesting. That's exactly what we've been talking about, is how to live your soul purpose. And if you go to my website, you'll get your free ebook, How to Live Your Soul-Filled, Prosperous Life, and really not only get your own excitement and passion going and feel like you know where you're going and safe, but you'll also be of service to those who are around you, who are in your tribe, and who are waiting for you to wake up. So we will see you next time. Joan of Angels, please like, subscribe, and share with your people so we can grow our channel. And be sure to step into the miraculous. Have a great week.